Welcome back, everyone. Slight technical hitch there, and that gives me another excuse not to do the random Halloween thing I was going to do, which honestly I was thinking about last night and decided against it. So, welcome back to What Lies Beneath. We're on episode 5, where our humbler party of adventurers continue on their journey through the Underdarks, heading towards Bibble's home at the Dark Lake town of Khan. And trying to flee the Drow pursuit. In the last episode, not only did they escape with the help of some rather sticky friends, I say friends, it's hard to tell what their allegiance is. They managed to escape, fought some skeletons, and managed to find a place to have a short rest. Well, actually, a long rest in this case, but and part of the party, some of the NPCs, decided to go their own separate ways. But we're going to start things off before we get into anything too exciting. Well, this is actually very exciting for me because I get to play with my favorite thing to play with in D&D. Mwahahaha.
Any characters?
Yes, I get to play with your mind. So everybody, roll for initiative.
Oh,
We will determine the order that this goes in.
this isn't going to be like the dragon thing again, where nothing actually happens.
Who knows?
Oh,
Well, that's my luck. Golden for the day.
Yes,
Fair.
nat 20 on the initiative track. That really doesn't matter. I think
Yeah.
you get off the initiative track. You're not
Yeah.
needing that. And I'll also remove Amrig because I'm not going to do it for someone who's not here. So, you able to roll initiative, Saskia?
Yeah, I got a 3.
Okay, for some reason it didn't put it in there, so I will just add it now. Just update that to that. Okay, so we're going to start off with Jorah. Remind me what happened in your last dream.
I was hoping you would remind me. I know I got my insanity, didn't I?
Yes, in your first dream, everything seemed to be rotting around you. But I don't recall your second dream for some reason. But I know it was enough to drive you mad. But, okay. This could be interesting then. I will play it with this one. Right. As you find yourself once more alone, a very familiar sensation for you, though perhaps not recently. You've always been a bit of a loner, or never sure who to trust, always a bit paranoid. But now you find yourself alone. You find yourself alone in a dark cavern, which all of a sudden becomes brightly lit by... You're not quite sure, it just seems like the air itself has suddenly been filled with light. But what's perhaps more peculiar is that it seems to be casting your shadow in every direction that you look. And each time you change direction to look at one of the shadows seem to change, almost as if they're shifting forms, much like you do, but you yourself are not shifting forms. And then suddenly on each of them forms a large, sharp-toothed mouth. For a quick reference, think something along the lines of Pride from Full Metal Alchemist in terms of the mouth design.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Well, so you managed to escape the prison, did you? My associates were of help to you, it seems.
Yes. Now, who are you? What do you want?
Well, let's just say I'm a humble observer who has put certain things in place which will make things a lot more interesting to observe. Consider yourselves actors on the stage, or perhaps pieces on a chessboard 12 dimensions across. A tricky thing for a mortal imagination to consider, I imagine, but I've had plenty of time to think about it, and 12 dimensions sounds about right. So, I imagine you have plenty of questions. So, I'm going to be generous because you've at least proved entertaining as a group so far. So I will give you 3 questions, the answer to which can be yes, no, or maybe. So think wisely. You might not get the chance again. Unless, of course, you prove entertaining enough, then I might reward you.
Question.
What is your favorite color?
What is your quest?
Oh.
And that's the third question.
The free,
Woof
the
woof.
free the doggo.
Apologies.
No problem. I appreciate this is a bit of a strange situation, but that's no reason to bark at me.
But so we know where the way we're going, right? Because we have Bibble.
Bibble is leading the way.
Is the Great Lake, or the Dark Lake, the wisest direction for us to go to return to the surface?
Yes.
What? No, that's not a good yes or no. Hmm.
Well, these are his personal questions, aren't they?
Yes. A good use of your first question. It's
I
always
see, personal. All right.
important to know if you are on the right path. And whilst it is not the only path, I would say that for your survival, that is definitely the best path for now. Providing you don't take too long about it.
Hmm. Will I return to my wife's resting place eventually?
Maybe. But it might not be in the place you remember.
I can't think of the third one with that sort of parameters of yes or no, or maybe yes, no, or maybe.
Well,
Can
would
I
you...
can I trust the rest of the members of this group to safely see us back to where we need to go?
Well, that one is the more interesting one. I will say this. I'll even go further than a yes and no here. There is one member that you travel with who you cannot trust. The rest, yes. Oh.
Damn.
And I shall give your patron my well wishes when I speak to them.
My
And with
my
that,
patron?
and with that, your dream fades.
Wait, what? Who? What? I don't know who that is.
Or a warlock.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't know who his patron actually is. He doesn't have a name.
Yeah, always the fun and games there.
Yep, that's no problem.
So, I will say the dream isn't that disturbing, but the fact that there might be someone you can't trust within your party does perhaps put you a little bit on edge. I will get that wisdom save from you, but it won't be too high DC this time. Yep, you are fine. You're able to maintain the grips of your sanity.
About time I succeed.
Brings us
Right.
to Smush, our lovely little mushroom, who the one dream I can remember of yours was the one where the strange clay creature had his hat eat you. But I'm pretty sure you had another dream, and I cannot remember it. What
I'm
was
trying
your
to
other?
think.
Yeah.
I don't think have I had another dream? I remember vividly the one where I was nearly getting eaten. Like picked me up, then instead put me on top of his hat. I
Yeah.
don't think I've had a second dream yet.
Okay. Then. So, this time you find yourself in a cavern filled with mushrooms of many different kinds. Some familiar, some even unfamiliar to you. They it reminds you a little of the fungus cavern back in the Drow prison, but this one is much more vast. And at the back of it is a large mushroom, which would be fitting for a Myconid sovereign to rule from.
Oh, sovereign. My
Yes.
home?
As you approach, you notice that the area is decorated as if for some sort of event.
Oh,
What would you and the
is it my
rows
birthday?
the rows of decorations seem to be leading to that large Zerkwood mushroom at the back.
I guess I'll I'll waddle towards it.
As you approach, a music begins to play, which at first sounds like a celebratory sort of music, but it's as if someone heard a song like Happy Birthday or something along those lines, some sort of celebratory tune, and instead played it in a minor key, adding a certain odd note to it. And it's as this shift occurs, you begin to notice that the mushrooms around you, the reason they weren't so familiar is that some of them seem to have decayed or warped, almost becoming corrupted. And they seem to be looking at you with a sense of suspicion and a sort of twisted satisfaction.
What? Well, they actually have faces.
Yes.
Weird. Okay. Well, I mean, I haven't faced myself.
Yes.
That's
And as you get nearer, some of them begin to sing to the tune in a language that is familiar to you, but not one you've heard other Myconids really speak, apart from those you've perhaps studied the arts of wizardry with. They are singing in abyssal,
Oh,
and the more they sing, the more twisted and deformed they seem to become.
oh, that's not alarming.
The large zirkwood mushroom in front of you opens up, and from it walks the sovereign of your circle. And walking next to them is a figure you don't recognize. They appear fungoid in nature, but they have a sense of royalty that perhaps surpasses any sovereign you have ever heard of. But there is also a sense of dread and power about them. And where they step, the things begin to decay, rot, and warp more. They look at you and smile. Ah, another one to join the circle. The true circle. Welcome home, Smush. I'm
This-
sure you've learnt much.
Oh, this doesn't look like home. Something's wrong.
No, everything is quite right. Let me show you. And they reach out towards you. They're quite a bit away from you. But as they're reaching towards you, it's almost like their hand seems to fill your entire vision and almost surround you. And then suddenly, without seeming to move through the intervening space, you're suddenly resting on their palm. But you have had his influence. We shall need to spend time cleansing you of that. And then
Ooh,
you can join us for the wedding. A guest of honor, perhaps. But
a flower girl?
yes, let's go with that. But for now, we must cleanse you and turn you into what you were always meant to be. And then
Oh, no,
you,
I'm not quite clean.
you,
I literally just covered myself in soap and went
you,
down a pipe.
you feel a sense you've not felt before, though you're aware of it because perhaps you've tasted it before in your food. You begin to feel a sensation of rot, starting from where your little stubby feet touch the hand, moving upwards slowly, and you feel yourself beginning to warp and change. Your mind begins to alter, and you begin to see your own sovereign as merely a tool, whilst this other being holding you is the true ruler, the one who deserves your leadership, and you deserve to be rotted and changed by her. And that
Ooh.
is when you wake up. And we shall have another roll wisdom save from you, my wisdy little shroom.
Oh, not good.
Yeah, that ain't good.
No, no.
Okay, so that is a definite failure, which puts you at the first level of madness. So
I'm
let
so
us.
young and innocent. How can I be mad already? I guess, though, the horribleness of seeing my sovereign as a tool, that's like complete reverse of what I would believe in my
Alright.
little fungus core.
Roll me a d10.
Okay. There you go.
Okay. So this is not going to last very long, but interesting. You will
I'm stunned.
start off the day for the first 8 minutes stunned.
Oh,
Not really too dangerous at the moment, but imagine if that occurred during the middle of combat or something.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. But you have begun the descent to madness, and as you wake, you notice your feet have discolored slightly and gained a slight rotten look to them.
I'm like disturbed by it. I'm like trying to lean towards it, but I'm like stuck, almost paralyzed.
Yep.
Kind
Okay,
of, I just roll from side to side slightly.
this brings us to Midas. Now, your dreams have followed a pattern. The first one, you returned home and you were almost torn apart. The second, that sensation continued.
Yeah, I only
Um,
remember having one dream,
yeah,
so
yeah. I might be confusing you with the other group. Possibly they've had
yeah.
quite a few.
I hate
But
the
either way,
I had the dream of being shouted at and swallowed by a dragon.
yes. Um, hmm. Well, this time things are a little bit different.
Ooh.
You find yourself once more awaking in a cage. At first, you think that perhaps this cage is back in the Drow prison and you've been caught in your sleep. But then you don't remember any of that. Surely you would have felt the sensation of being dragged like the day and a half back. And then you notice that things are different. And watching you from the darkness is a single red glowing eye. It seems to shake and tilt, and then just check my notes, guys. And then 10 other smaller red lights light up and goes, and it speaks. You were not what I was expecting. But wait, I am not yet awake. So this is a dream, and I have dreamt you up in a dream. Unusual.
No.
Very unusual.
Am I able to move?
Yes, you're able to move inside this sort of cage you're in.
Oh, okay.
But and it's a sort of a small chamber, so you can walk about a little.
I'll sort of just be like trying to move around the cage to see where these eyes are speaking from. Where's your mouth?
Ah, your vision isn't as clear as those that I have dreamt up before. Interesting. I wonder, would a
I've-
human be of any use to my plans if I truly did dream you up? Hmm.
Thinking of that, do I have any of my torches on me, my hooded lantern, or
You do.
yeah, I'll shine that on him then. On it.
And what you see is a large floating skull with a large central red eye surrounded by 10 glowing orbs of light.
The hell are you?
Wish you hadn't done that now.
Ah, a light in the darkness. An interesting concept. But darkness is where I rule, for I rule the dreams. I am known by many names, but you may call me the Grim Beholder. That seems an appropriate title for now.
Wait, what am I beholding? Is it the many eyes?
I am beholding you is perhaps a more accurate description, and all that are in my vision will eventually become subservient to me. On the moment of death you shall rise, as one of the legion of my many dead. Though, for now, you're perhaps more useful alive and free to roam. What brings you to the depths?
So, well, Drow.
Torthor does good trade still then. And yet, I sense your real body is not as imprisoned as your astral one. An escape that doesn't happen often. Perhaps you have a certain amount of use after all. Where do you travel to?
The surface, eventually.
I have not yet dreamt of the surface, but it could be an interesting place to spread my influence.
You've not seen the surface before?
No, I was born in the dark and raised in the dark, and I am,
Molded by
to,
it.
to some extent, the dark. And I mold the thoughts that happen in the dark to my will.
Interesting. Do you know any others who live down here?
There are many. There are numerous creatures, many of whom lack any real form of sentience. And whilst they are useful puppets, they lack a certain amount of creativity and flair. They make good soldiers, but they don't make good generals. Perhaps. Perhaps I shall keep an eye on you, and should you prove suitable, perhaps I will try to recruit you. You would be an interesting piece to play on a journey to the surface. You would have knowledge that others do not. Perhaps, if you prove yourself worthy, I shall light a path to the surface for you. But for now, you are best learning from the dark. But be careful, little Midas. Dreams are not always a safe place. You'd be wise to try to keep them under control, lest others take control. And with that, your dream fades. And again, I'm going to have the wisdom save, but again, it's a low DC because it's not a particularly twisted dream, just a confusing dream in this case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Well.
I'm so confused, but
Yep.
he's also stunned.
Yep. Apparently, the thought of this creature watching you and seeing if you're worthy has been enough to change you. So we shall see what the table has in
I'm also
store for you.
I'm also probably just wondering why he has so many eyes.
Yep. Okay.
Wow.
So roll a d10.
Okay. I've been here before.
Yep.
There's the lockdown feel right there.
All right. So not, and then roll me a d3.
D3. Oh, that's an S, not a D.
Okay. So you shall spend the next 9 minutes laughing.
Oh no, not this again. There's two characters both in laughing fits.
Yup. At least it's only for 9 minutes, not just at random occasions.
The
Oh,
first one was my fault.
Which brings us to our newest member, Morium the Goliath, the party member who has not yet had a chance to dream, for they arrived just before you escaped, and this is the first rest since. So, you find yourself, Morion, at the top of a mountain. Or at least it appears to be the top of the mountain. As you try to descend this mountain, you instead feel a sensation of going up. As you get nearer and nearer the base, the higher up you feel, it's as if it's like gravity has been inverted. Where the top of the mountain is the bottom. It's a very strange sensation. As a Goliath, you are at home at the tops of mountains where the air is thinner and cooler. It is where you thrive, it's where your people reside, and yet if the highest place is wider, that makes it a less defensible position. Not really that suitable, it becomes more vast, there are more chances of chasms and things going awry. You begin to explore and look about, but nothing makes sense. Every direction you seem to travel, even if you try to retrace your steps and go back towards the tip of the mountain, you again still feel that sensation of going up. And as you do, the air begins to get thinner and thinner, and you feel it getting to the point where you're beginning to suffocate slightly from the lack of oxygen. But also, because of the height you seem to have now traveled to, the sun's rays are no longer being shielded by the clouds, and you're feeling their full warmth upon you, and it's scorching your flesh.
Lorian's climbs are becoming more frantic.
Yes. And as you continue, suddenly you see a cave. Respite from the outside. Perhaps the way down is on the inside. Perhaps that's the way through this.
Seems an excellent idea.
You enter, but as you do, you find that the ground is strangely moist. And you reach down to touch it, and it has strange ridges, and then it begins to move. The entrance to this cave shuts,
Oh god.
leaving you in pitch dark. And then feel a wind begin rushing, pulling you deeper into this cave. And then you begin to fall. And beneath you, all you see is a pit of what at first you think to be water, but then you see some rocks fall into it and they dissolve. It appears to be an acid of some kind. And it forms into it forms several figures, all of which appear to be Goliaths, and they look up to you and simply say, "Join us, be as him, be one, be nothing." And then you fall and you feel the flesh being burnt away. It's much more intense than the heat of the sun was. You can see the flesh being melted from your bones, leaving you a skeletal figure, and you're aware of every sensation of this going on until even the bones begin to melt. And you'd think that clearly, like, your brain would have gone before the bones due to this acid, like, seeping in, but no, somehow that alone seems to have survived, seems to have this sort of, you have this awareness. And then at the last moment, just as all that's left is your mind, you feel a strange sense of connection, of many other minds becoming one. And then you simply hear a voice. Welcome. And with that, I want a wisdom save.
That's the gnarliest dream so far.
I got a real roll with that one. Yeah.
Oh god, we're doing so bad, guys. Come on, we're gonna wake up done.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. So this is your first madness. So again, if you could roll me a d10.
Like, giving Smoosher piggybacks, no problem, but who's gonna drag Morian around?
Yep.
Rebel, I hope you're as strong as you are slimy.
I haven't added you on here yet, actually. Create resource. Do that. Do that. Okay. And then let's see what the table holds for you today. Okay. So,
Oh no, that's worse than being stunned.
so
Oh, come on.
for the next 2 minutes, you are terrified. And what you're terrified of is falling. And thus, you are terrified of edges and places where you could fall down. Which, fortunately, as you awake, is not something you see around you. So you can feel that fear. You pat the ground around you, perhaps verifying that it's solid, verifying that your flesh is still there. But you also notice that Midas is laughing out loud, Smush is staring at their feet, and Jorah is perhaps looks contemplating. Amrig, however, appears fine, as does Tinky, as does Sarabel. What you do notice, however, is that Kilsa is not with you anymore. The tiefling who you are thrown into prison with at the same time has gone. And with that, you're all awake, and I shall actually unpause the game. So, you're awake, you've had the benefits of a long rest, which is nice. I think the only one who really took damage looking at their sheet was Smush, but perhaps use some spells and such.
There we go.
Bibble's fine. Dinky's fine. Rebel just needs to restore a spell slot.
The Smush is currently on the ground, trying to like lean up to like get up, but is kind of caught just staring at his little feet, and is just maybe shuddering and twitching slightly, eyes wide open, unblinking.
Maury's just kind of poking his hands, making sure, yep, flesh, that's bone, still have hands.
Ha 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 ha.
So funny, Bibble asks.
Lol 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 lol. That's all he gets. More laughter.
He pokes you on the forehead, leaving a big sticky line from his like mucousy flesh. I just won't tell me the joke. Smush, do you know what the joke is?
Smush tries to shudder again, but lets off a lot of rapport spores, but the only emotion you get is one of like frozen and stunned confusion. It doesn't make any sense. Whatever words are coming to you, it's more just like mutterings, like.
So you're beatboxing.
Yeah, something like that.
MC Shroom.
But
Dinky looks at you all and is just like, you know, Bibble, I think they've gone entirely mad. Oh.
I'm fine. Just it was a weird night. Weird dreams.
Bibble didn't have any dreams.
That must be nice. Now I'm gonna dig through my bag, see if I can find any rations or food or anything. Which I do have. I have 2 rations. Oh no, sorry, it's 1 weighs 2 pounds.
No.
So I will not eat breakfast.
Yeah. Well, you've got a few minutes before most of your party recover. Is there anything you would like to do, Jorah or Morian, whilst you're waiting for Midas to stop laughing and Smush to stop shaking on the ground?
I'm just gonna go through my belongings, make sure everything's still there. Like the crossbow, daggers, etc. Make sure it's all still with me. From what I can feel, because I'm assuming we have no light, so I can't see a thing.
you have torches though.
I have 1 torch. I'd rather save it currently.
Yeah, sure. Amrig will cast light. I'm sure he has that prepared. Yeah. So, on the end of his
Yeah, Amrig will cast light
Warhammer.
and on the end of his warhammer, probably that makes sense.
Just hands it to you as a makeshift torch.
Or yeah,
Whilst he like rolls up his bedroll, I'm assuming.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine, I'll do that. So yeah, I'll go through my pack, make sure I've got everything, and
Yeah. Probably anything you'd like to be doing, Morian?
If there's light, I'd like a quick look around.
Yeah, so at the moment in the little cave you sort of found to rest in, there's not a lot. Obviously there's your party members. or which honestly seems a bit smaller than. Well, it is a bit smaller than when you left, which is perhaps fortunate because, considering the size of Vinoran, at least you wouldn't have been able to really fit him and the rest in here. So it's perhaps a good idea that they split off. You're unsure when and where Kilsa has gone, but they have gone, and there is like no note or anything that you can see.
No sign of footprints or anything.
Roll me a survival check. Why not? No, no sign of any footprints. You do see, though, simply where perhaps someone has been doodling in like the soft, gravelly sort of sand that's beneath you. A word, but then it looks like it's been scraped out, so you can't quite make it out, but it looks like someone was doodling words in the ground, but tried to cover it up. Not completely, but enough that you can't tell what they were writing.
Yeah.
Or perhaps a message was left in the dirt and someone has rolled over in their sleep and scraped it away.
Bibble.
It's possible. It's possible.
I'll,
Damn
I
it,
think
James.
we found the joke that Midas is laughing at.
Yep.
He heard it out of game and in the future, and that's why he got mad.
But yes, you have managed to
Yes.
you have eventually managed to recover from your laughter and incapacitated state and are able to move freely once more.
Ah.
Is that all of us?
Yep.
Is that all of us, James?
Yeah, all of you. Sorry.
Okay. So I think Mush is still just a bit shaken up and just takes it slow to begin with. But
9.
they do steadily get to their feet and are trying to like wash their feet off with the soap that they still have.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Midas is just holding onto his jaw because 9 minutes of constant laughter is just killing.
Yeah. Bibble
Oh,
Bibble pokes you again and it's like, what was the joke?
Your face.
Bibble doesn't. Bibble pauses considering this. And then
Yeah.
chuckles slightly.
God damn it. So who have we got today? And I'd sort of like tap on.
Oh, you've got us. Wow, you got us both, of course. You got me, and you've got. Is it Derek? Frank?
Frank.
Frank. There's Derek in the other group.
Yeah, but
You confused yourself.
Yep.
By having a Frank. So there's actually 3 split personalities. One
you confuse yourself. Now you need to roll a madness check.
I'm
yeah.
already mad.
So
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
are you the main one then, or is Frank going to be about? He seems more
He's always about.
sensible.
He's always about. He's right behind you.
I'm not falling for that.
Yeah, he walks over and reaches out as if to shake someone's hand, and it's like, he's right here. He's been doing maths all night. He likes maths.
All right then. Well, this seems like madness music.
Did anyone have a bad dream?
Yeah. So what do you guys know of monsters down here? We know of the drow. We know of quaggoths. We know of weird oozes and
There's the
Rush look
mind.
towards Amric.
There's the mind flayers.
mind flares. What a
They're
What
they're like people, but they've got like tentacles for mouths, and they eat your brains, and they make you into slaves, like telepathically.
So not giant eyes with many more eyes.
Oh, you're talking about Beholder.
Yeah, he said something about beholding something.
Yep, that's what those creatures are called. They're called Beholders.
Ah,
Very dangerous, but
so very dangerous that one might be inhabiting my dream.
that's unusual, and normally they inhabit their own dreams.
Uh-oh.
But, are you walking and talking, or are you just sitting in the cave that you
Sure.
found?
We should probably keep moving.
After a little while, I'm actually going to light up this room a bit. This room is not nearly as dark. You find yourself in a room where actually everyone can see. It's a dim light, but the large crystals that seem to dominate this room, some as big as your fist, some bigger than even Venorin was, glow with a strange light. Um, um, are we on the right track, Bibble? Bibble considers this, and Bibble is going to roll a survival check, as Bibble is leading the way. And do anyone have guidance? Nope, nobody has guidance, so
Just have like
Bibble on the wisdom. Okay, Bibble's fine. Bibble goes, yes, this is the way. We go through here, we go across some bridges, through some more caverns, and eventually we'll get there, though. These crystals were actually kind of fun. If you, hit one of them or you throw them, they, like, explode in a bright flash of light.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't you try it? Give us a shot.
Bibble walks over, finds a small one, and throws it at you, Midas.
Can I attempt to catch it?
You can. I'm just gonna say, I'll say sleight of hand. Why not? You do manage to catch it, and
Throw it back in.
you manage to catch it in such a way that you manage to sort of catch it, but sort of like loosely, so you can like control its momentum to slow it down, and then you throw it back. And Bibble
No, playing a game of.
will roll a con save.
Hell yeah.
Well done. Your guide is now blind for the next minute. That's it. Explodes with a bright flash of light.
So it does. You were right, Bibble.
And Bibble begins to wander, and you see him going dangerously near the edges of this cliff.
Oh no.
He can't see.
I'll grab him.
Speaking of which, Morion, as you get in here, you do notice that this area is dominated by large cliffs, but it seems you've managed to gain a hold of yourself, fortunately. Otherwise, this would have been a lot more difficult for you.
Still not going too close to the edge.
Yeah, you're wary, but you're not so terrified you're going to run at the mere
Yeah.
thought of going near an edge.
Eyeing it, keeping a cautious distance.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my hand down to pick Smoosh up and carry him.
okay.
Yeah, I'll put Smoosh on my shoulder.
Smoosh is this character that we all just pass around from time to time on our shoulders.
It's past the Smoosh.
I don't mind. It's clearly a free lift.
Well,
Yeah.
it's easy doing that because I'm assuming your movement speed's less than 30.
It should be. Yeah, I think I'm only 25.
So if we all moved full 30, you'd be sort of lagging behind. So it's
I
carry-
would, yeah.
you weigh next to
Dwarves,
nothing.
the two
so,
dwarves wouldn't. The dwarves only have 25 feet as well.
no, well, it's
I'm
fine.
surprised it's even.
Stubby legs.
I'm surprised it's even 25, considering he's an even smaller creature than dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
I'll
gnomes are
carry him.
25, so...
Smoosh doesn't weigh much.
I'll keep Bibble in front of me and sort of guide him for the next minute.
Yeah. I'll say that during the next minute, all of you guys can probably get over to this section over here. And Bibble's vision recovers, and Bibble's like... Bibble goes, that was a really good catch.
Thanks.
Um,
You know, as we're going like towards the end, can I attempt to throw a stone at one of the big ones? Just want to see how it goes. I'm really amused by the idea.
when you get near the end, you say. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Okay, so Bibble looks to you and goes, if you're careful, you can actually harvest these crystals, and they're like good, like small torches, I guess.
Oh.
And also good to throw at people, particularly drow, because drow are really sensitive to light.
Oh. Yeah.
Hearing that, can I try and harvest some?
Not yet.
Yes.
Let's do it when we get towards the end.
Yeah. I will say that Bibble explains it will take some time to harvest them properly. They can't be done like willy-nilly. It's like a slow, precise sort of thing. There's not like a roll for it, but you have to take time to do so.
These crystals, by the way.
Yeah.
When it was thrown at Bibble, did they crumble or did they just?
Oh, they shattered. Like it was like a bright flash of light, and the light seemed to consume the stone around it.
Good to know. Yeah, we'll try and harvest at the end then.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to try to navigate your path through here.
Bibble's not guiding us?
No, Bibble's guiding you, but I'm gonna leave it up to you to move your tokens through here. See if you can work out the path, because you can't easily walk off edges, but at least from memory. I'm pretty sure that's how I set this up. Gonna check that now. Yeah. Actually, no, you probably could actually walk off some edges.
I'm assuming this over here is an edge.
Yeah,
I'm
basically.
just preparing Featherfall real quick then.
Yeah.
I'm not moving that way. You can just walk straight off the edge. Okay.
Yeah, basically, from what you can see, it seems like the path is actually quite easy to see because it's like these crystals which almost work like steps. But considering these crystals also respond to impact, gotta be careful.
Yeah, I'm probably being all stealthy.
So I'm gonna have, yeah, that's a good roll to do. I'm gonna have everybody roll a stealth check as they go across each of the bridges.
Still an 8. 8's still good. Wow, we're all rolling.
Did like half of us roll
Except the
twos?
big guy. The big guy is very soft-footed.
How many of us just rolled twos?
Hmm. Okay.
Oh,
Right.
this is going well.
Let's you know what? I'm gonna actually Smush, you didn't need to roll because you're being carried, so you're
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Do I get advantage then?
No.
No.
Be
Okay.
careful. These crystals are likely to explode on impact. Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Yep. So, speaking of that, I would like a con save from Midas and Jura. And also Smush, unfortunately, because you're on Jura's shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are now Smush, you're fine, which is fortunate because you can potentially lead Jura. Midas, on the other hand, you're blind. So from